Athletes doing battle once again, but the athletes that we have seen that have gone through, they really pushed themselves in that one. We didn't necessarily see that in the women's racing because the field wasn't quite as deep.
Oh, that race, that semi-final was amazing, set up by Vincent Lewis, who was committed to having such a big, aggressive race to distance himself from Hayden Wild. When we did the slot draw in the selection of those semi-finals, there was a lot of discussion around which semi-final was the quickest one. This next semi-final is definitely considered the swimmer semi-final, stacked with swimming strength. What we've seen on this course is that swimming, those big groups that get away on that bike ride, keep that pace on and could set up a fast time.
Now, we saw the school visit just before, which is a fantastic part of the week, and we had 600 school kids turn out for this one. But there are some very special names that we've noticed here in Malta. We met Jake Vella last year, if you remember that, and he has a very rare condition that he has to work on every single day to just simply stay alive. And he always just wanted to meet Ali and Johnny Brownlee, and he got that chance, and we're seeing that right now. How good was that?
That was amazing. I know. I knew the story of Jake for quite some time. I had a lot of friends here on the island of Malta, and they'd been trying to get the Brownleys here for many years. And for Jake to meet his heroes was remarkably a part of. And as one of the founders of Super League and all the people that bring this stuff together, it was one of the touching moments for me of the entire series to see that happen.
All right, I'll leave you right here. If you want to come with me, follow me along. We're going to go into what this is called the athlete recovery area. So they run in off the back of the finishing line. They come into this area, and there's plenty of things to eat and drink and make sure that they're okay. So I'm just going to go under this tent right here and see if I can find Vasco Velasco. Vasco, we're live on television right now, mate. I'm sorry that you're shirtless, but you'll just have to deal with that. Vasco, you said to Macca, and we said in commentary, that after Jersey you were better than that. You could show better than that, and you certainly did that today. How do you feel?
I'm feeling great right now. I kind of surprised myself. I was talking with Macca, and I told him, and we were talking about I was invited to come here, and I know I can do better. I know I can do much better. So I just been working really hard to catch up with that 1 second that I didn't qualify from, and I guess I catch up with much more than just 1 second. Just feeling great today. We got excited running behind Lewis, a bit tired on the second triathlon. It's just great to be qualified in the first 5 guys.
You've got an incredible resume yourself. You've already done so much, and you're only 20 years of age, but you look around and you've got the guy who won the Tokyo Test event back there. You've got the world champion over here. You've got Hayden Wild. We know how good he is. At one point you just think, look at these guys that are surrounding me. I'm matching it with them.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, I look at them, I want to go with them. Of course, I have never been able to do it. It was the first time today, so excited. But just by the way, I'm 19 still, so...
Oh, 19, sorry.
Still 19.
Sorry, you had hair on your chest. I thought you must be 20 by now.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
It's still growing.
Yeah, keep working on that. All right, sorry, 20-year-olds want to tell me that they're 19. Come over, we go a little bit further, and I'll just talk to Tyler Mislachuk. Tyler, you looked a little bit ill at the end of that one, mate. Are you okay?
Yeah, a little bit of Red Bull and salt water mix in the best combo, especially just kind of like on a night out. Hey, margaritas, not so good for the stomach.
I don't know, you telling me that. I don't go out anymore, mate. I've got 2 daughters. But you did the job. Obviously, you got eliminated semi-final last time, so you wanted the showing, and you gave us that. I got to bring that up, but that's only after you've already been right in the mix on the top 5 this time around.
Yeah, it felt a lot better today. Not 100% actually, so maybe it's a good wake up for tomorrow, but this Super League is so much fun. I mean, it kind of felt like a bit of a slog talking to other athletes. It's just a completely different course, different race, and it's crazy because Super League, I mean, every weekend you see different guys up there. I mean, obviously the class is always at the top, but it's nice to mix it up.
And, we're on air to all around the world, 1.1 billion households. Do you think it's a good idea to have a moustache like that?
My mom was extremely angry, same with my grandmother. Girlfriend liked it though, so that's all that matters.
That's all that matters indeed. We're going to go down right now to Joe and Graham Atchison as we continue the build up to men's semi-final B.
Okay, well, I have got Graham with me. Now, that race, it must throw statistics out of the water when there's a crash like that, no?
Yeah, sometimes. It depends who's involved in it. We had a crash in Jersey, and those girls actually, they obviously didn't do well out of it. But here, most of the guys actually made it through, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay, any outperformers?
Yeah, well, Vasco and Tyler both automatically qualified. I especially didn't have the Portuguese athlete Vasco to come so high as he did. He performed fantastically. He had a big smile on his face the whole way around. It was great to watch.
Okay, let's look ahead to semi-final B. Some strong swimmers in this race. Who do you think might do well?
Well, I think Aidan Longcroft Harris, he's always first out the water in Jersey. His swim times are phenomenal. If he doesn't lead out here, it'd be a big surprise. But we've got Skuman as well as Lacore, who did fantastically well in Jersey. And then you've also got Richard Murray, who's coming back as well. He's a strong cyclist. So we'll see. I think Skuman should win. It'll be interesting to see who comes second.
Anyone that you think might be able to go as fast as Vincent did?
Well, Skuman's obviously the best shout, but Vincent looked so comfortable there that I think, if anybody... Well, actually, second semi-final B has always been faster, so maybe Skuman might do it. We'll see.
You do have each other to race. Thank you so much, Graham.
Some really, really good insight there from Graham Atchison as we head into semi-final B. Let's get a quick tip from you for semi-final B. I know you were good on our Facebook Live show, the Power Up show. We'll have another one tomorrow morning at 9:30, so check out that. But you like the Norwegians. We've seen Gustav Iden get into the top 5. What do you think about Christian Blumenfeld in this one?
I like Christian Blumenfeld as an athlete, full stop. I think he really suits Super League racing. I think he'll love this course. The downhill will suit his ability to run downhill very, very quick. He has the right attitude to be successful in that. We've seen him many years ago, or 2 years ago, very successful Super League racing. He had a bit of a hiatus. I think it's his comeback race this weekend.
I hope so. He loves the pain. He loves the hills, Christian Blumenfeld. Him and Gustav Iden have been so strong across the course of the last couple of years, and they lead a Norwegian charge, and they know each other very, very well. Almost too well, some would say. I caught up with a pair of them earlier in the week.
I think he might have been surprised that he was in front of you.
Gentlemen, welcome to Malta. First time here for both of you. What do you think of the island so far?
It's really nice to be here. I watched the race last year and it just looked really, really good. So then I just decided I had to do the whole series and come here and get the experience.
Gustav, Jersey threw a bit of everything at us. The conditions were very Norwegian, but your first SLC experience, what did you learn to bring into Malta? Because I know you've aimed at this round as being where you'll really contend.
Yeah, for Jersey, I took Jersey as more for learning because I knew I couldn't really compete with the top level guys who've done this many times before. So what I took with me from Jersey, it's fast from the gun. It's really, really fast. And I haven't been training specifically for this time, but I'm at least really mentally prepared that it's going to be really, really fast, even though my body is not ready yet to compete at the top level, I think.
The Norwegian team, there seems to be a bit of mystique about the Norwegian training methods and what you guys are doing up there in that weird Scandinavian area. Is that fair? Do you think the way that Norway does things is a little bit different or not? Or is that just something you guys have been...
It is a bit different, but we post every training session we do on Strava, so I don't think it's a mysterious or mystery what we're doing.
I think it's all about the control, that you're able to control the intensity and also the training load. So we do a lot of volume, but for example, many of the track sessions we do isn't really all out, but it's maybe double the distance to what many of the other guys does, but it's almost at the same pace.
Am I right in saying that you did at one point a 27-mile uphill run?
Okay.
27 Ks?
Yeah,
not miles.
That was in Sierra Nevada.
Still, 27 Ks up, that would take me
Intervals.
2 months to get over.
That was intervals too.
Yeah.
Intervals?
Yeah,
And it was 1,500 meters climbing. So in altitude meters.
Yes.
And
look at the smile on your face while you're talking about this. You love it.
One of the sessions we do is then we drive down and we start warming up as we're running maybe 20 minutes uphill, and then we start 6 by 10 minutes at the threshold. Best average, and then
everyone's watching this is just vomiting a little in their mouth, and you're just smiling.
Yeah, but just I think a few weeks ago they even had a marathon downhill from Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
And that has to be much more painful.
I think it's worse to run down the hill than up the hill.
Well, we're going to see this weekend because it's either uphill or downhill.
Yeah.
The downhill is where it was won and lost last year, so you've got to you've got to punch it downhill.
I think the downhill should be fine for me. It's all about.
You say it now, we will see. Yeah. On the run.
All right, before we wrap it up, because it's hard for you guys. Normally I can look at people's Instagram and I can see what they get up to outside of, there's nothing outside of triathlon that you don't exist. I think you might sleep for about 4 hours a night and that's it. So everything else is training, recovering from training, racing, training. So I'm going to ask Gustav, what's something about Christian that we don't know? Is there anything that you can give some insight?
I don't know actually what he does without triathlon, so I have no idea.
I have no life outside of the sport.
Yeah,
so
it's really, really hard to say what he does outside of triathlon.
It's so hard when people ask you to put in 3 things. For example, what's your interest?
Yeah.
And it's you can't really say swim, bike, run. so then sports, eating.
Eating is the hobby.
And Netflix, it's kind of.
Yeah.
You really need to get out a bit more, buddy.
Great insight into the Norwegian state of mind. They're enjoying their racing. They absolutely love their racing. And another man who's loving being back on the start pontoon is Richard Murray. He's been sick since the Tokyo Test event, but he's better now. He's ready to go. He's a race winner here, and he's down with Joe.
Hi, Richard. Well, of course, we missed you in Jersey. You've had a little time off. How does it feel to be back?
Yeah, I missed you guys too. It's good to be back. Yeah, I had a couple of stomach problems for a month or so, so I had to sit out Jersey. But yeah, very happy to be back in Malta.
And on the home turf that you won on last year, this course, a lot of people find it very hilly, seems to play to your strengths.
Yeah, I think it's I enjoy a very hard bike and a hilly bike as well. I've got about 2.5 weeks of training under the belt, so I'm not expecting a hell of a lot this weekend. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having some good fun and trying to do the best that I can over these 2 days.
And I notice you've chosen to start next to Henry Schoeman. Why is that?
Well, he's a good swimmer, number one, and on the left of him is also a very good swimmer as well. So, yeah, it's quite good, but they said it was a little bit more equal towards number 10, but it looks like the right-hand side's got the benefit here. But yeah, hopefully I can jump onto their feet to the first buoy. I think that'll be awesome.
Okay, and your girlfriend Rachel did very well. Hopefully that set the precedent as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely keeping the standards very high, and she obviously keeps going, and I mean, that's amazing, and I'm very happy for her, and it's, we'll see how she does tomorrow as well.
Okay, we'll let you get ready to race. Good luck.
Cool, thanks, cheers guys.
Thanks, Richard, for taking the time. Thanks, Joe, as well. We cannot wait to get this final semi-final for the afternoon underway. And here is Group B, and it is a swimmers group. Pierre Lecour finished second in Jersey. Ben Canute, always very strong and great on the bike, as is Martin Van Riel, Christian Blumenfeld, we just heard from. Jonas Schomburg, Michael Arashida of the US, Aurelian Raphael, our quickest swimmer from Jersey. Roberto Sanchez Mantegon, the under-23 world champion. Aidan Longcroft Harris holds the blue jersey for the quickest swims overall. Chris Perham, Shongo Lehman, Richard Murray, Henry Schoeman, Anthony Poujard, and our junior qualifier, Alessio Crocchiani, who is again the Italian. But we'll head back down now to Joe with Henry Schoeman, who was our blue jersey winner all the way through. He missed out in Jersey as well, and he is warming up right now.
Now, Henry, of course, you weren't able to compete in Jersey. You must be raring to get back in that water. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I think it's going to be really tactical for me. Maybe don't have the same fitness as the guys. They're really fit, but yeah, I'm going to try and use my strengths where I can and capitalize on them.
And of course, you have often had the blue jersey. How important will this start be?
Yeah, it's going to be quite important. The start is really short. It's like 50 meters out to the first buoy. So yeah, got to get out fast and get out there.
And I'm being told that you have a little surprise for us under your hat. I won't make you take your hat off now, but is it going to help you go faster? What's that about?
Maybe it will keep your eyes on me.
Okay, and it's a wedding surprise, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
A wedding haircut. Well, we wait till the run and the bike to see that one. Good luck.
Thank you.
Came up to me at dinner last night and said, you have to call me the white shark from now on because of the white hair, and I'm a good swimmer. So his hair is very bright, and Henry Schoeman is ready to go. It's very odd to see him not in blue, in fact.
The great white shark. So he eats people alive.
He eats people alive, indeed. In the blue is Aidan Longcroft Harris, who was a qualifier, came through with some fantastic swims, the Canadian, and he is in the blue jersey. Vincent Lewis, we know, is in the pink. We just saw that. Aaron Royal and Hayden Wild are in the red and green. They've already been out there, but Aidan Longcroft Harris and Christian Blumenfeld will be your coloured jerseys. Christian takes the grey by virtue of being the fastest in transition in Jersey. The youngest athlete in the field will be in the white, everyone else will be in the yellow, and there is plenty of quality throughout. It is almost impossible to pick a winner out of this group. There is quality all the way through. New guys like Chongol Lehman from Hungary and Roberto Sanchez Mantegon could really be wild cards in this one and mix up the order.
Chongo Lehman, a big swimmer as well. And it'll be interesting to see if Aidan Longcroft Harris, who's in blue, he needs to lead this swim out to keep those points consistent, to hold that blue jersey with a lot on the line.
Well, he needs to lead the swim out just to stay in touch, really, with a group of this quality. He was 12th overall in round one. He only snuck into the final because Simon Henselite decided not to take his spot. So he knows that he needs to be around on Sunday to hold on to the blue jersey, to take those points, but also just to make it through to the final anyway. Totally. He's 21 years old, one of the youngest that has raw speed. He doesn't have the resume of some of the other guys out there, but that didn't stop him in Jersey. So we have 15 of the very best in the world down on the pontoon, right in the shadow of that big boat that Mac has been living on for the last week and a half.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, sorry, my apologies.
The thing about this 15 here is you've probably got your top 8 best swimmers in the world in this heat. Taking up Vincent Lewis out of the mix. The amount of swim power that's going to come off this pontoon right now is ludicrous. You're not going to see anything better in triathlon anywhere in the world.
Yeah, half a dozen or more of the best swimmers in triathlon, all on the pontoon, all in Malta, and all fighting it out for 5 spots in tomorrow's finals. Such is the depth of quality in both of our men's semi-finals. There's Richard Murray looking across at his rivals. They're made to wait on the pontoon for a little while, and we're going to get this one underway. Swim, bike, run. The 90-second rule in full effect. Fall foul of that. 90 seconds back from the leaders. Your day is done. The top 5 go through to tomorrow's final, and the next 5 combined fastest times from the 2 semi-finals will go through. Leo Bergier in 6th in semi-final A with a 32.33. Anthony Poujard closest to your screen there. Another one of the high-quality athletes, just on the outside of Alessio Crocchiani from Italy, junior.
Pierre Lecour on the furthest from screen.
Clean start. Some people a little slow off the blocks, though. And that included Aidan Longcroft-Harris, who is churning up the water in the middle, but he's going to find himself behind, I think, Skuman. Who is that got a good start out?
Orion Raphael, it could be.
Raphael, I think number 12.
Who was the quickest off the blocks out in Jersey, was able to qualify. He went backwards from there. Aidan Longcroft-Harris, without him in the final, was able to get that gapped water. He's got Orion Raphael's feet. It looks
Lecour. Lecour closest to screen, but there is Aurélien Raphael. Part of the big French contingent here.
You can see the ease he gets around that first swim buoy and the congestion now where they get caught up, and Raphael, who's moving quickly, doesn't have that congestion and is able to get 1 or 2 extra body lengths as they come off the swim buoy. That's why the explosiveness off the blocks is so important. We saw it in the women's semi-finals, we saw it in the first semi-final with Vincent Lewis, and you're seeing it again now. And that congestion with so many good swimmers makes it very, very tough.
Arashida here closest to screen alongside a young athlete.
Blumenfeld in the grey.
32 that's Blumenfeld actually in the grey. You're right, the grey and the white look very similar. But to give you an idea of just how quick Aurélien Raphael is, he finished 12th overall in Jersey, but his best swim was 3:06 in Jersey, and the average swim of these quality athletes was 3:29. He's 31 years of age, which is not really the age to be making your debut in Super League Triathlon. I'd say it's about 10 years earlier than that. But he is showing, after 13 years as a pro triathlete, that he still very much has the swim to do the job. Part of that Poissy Tri team from the French Grand Prix. The French are so good at this style of racing because they get brought up on it.
They were built around this style of racing, and the French have always been such magnificent, powerful swimmers. Whatever they're doing there as part of that French high-performance program, they've been doing very, very successfully for 2 decades. And Aurélien Raphael, I recall coming onto the circuit and seeing him do such huge damage in the Brownlee days in the swim, and bringing this whole contingent, Pierre Lecour, Vincent Lewis, along with him. It's been remarkable to watch.
Aidan Longcroft-Harris there, he's moving up into 3rd position. He got caught really badly on the first buoy and pushed back down the field, and he's had to work hard, the number 18 there in the blue, to push himself back up.
Henry Skuman on the far side. We're used to seeing him in the blue. Aidan Longcroft-Harris moving up on Anthony Pajadis, who's the second French sitting on Aurélien Raphael's feet. But that's testament to how quick the swims is now, because last year we were seeing Henry Skuman just really dictating, controlling these swims with Vincent Lewis. Now there's a lot more athletes around them showing the swim power that's come aboard with these younger athletes coming aboard.
To illustrate that, Henry Skuman has never finished below 4th in a swim, and that is in a final. We didn't have semi-finals last year. He never finished below 4th. He's now in a semi-final with half the field, and he's going to come out of the water in 5th.
Pierre Lecour beating him out in 5th. You've got
Martin Van Riel there too. But that really gives you an idea. He's got half the field in front of him. He's finished 5th in a swim. So by his own admission, he doesn't have the fitness that he has had before. Aurélien Raphael, the first out of transition. Pierre Lecour closest to us, but out of transition he comes out along another Frenchman, Anthony Poujard, and then a whole glut of athletes with Lehman there. And Richard Murray, who stays in touch. He's not a renowned swimmer. Poujard, Lecour, Longcroft-Harris, Van Riel, Canute, Skuman, Lehman, Schomburg.
Murray, there's Sanchez.
There's Mantacon. And there is Christian Blumenfeld, who'll need to do what he does best and plough his way through the field with that bike power up this hill.
He's got some work to do, Christian Blumenfeld.
Murray down in 12th, Arashida 13th, Blumenfeld in 14th, and Sanchez Mantecon, the under-23 world champion, in last position. There is the two Frenchmen. Getting sick of the French at the front. Beaugrand win it. Lewis wins it, and at the front now, Poujade and Raphael.
Ben Canute and Pierre Lecour, so 3 of the top 4 are French, with only Ben Canute disrupting that party. Ben Canute loves this course, he just loves to get on the front.
Here's Mantecon, he's moved up dramatically. 5 spots on that hill.
Purnham just back off him. Richard Murray, far out, what just the tactical, the skillful brilliance of Richard Murray on a bike. He did all that moving up, and his ability to get around that bottom corner on the roundabout. He slid up the inside. He followed Martin Van Riel on the outside. It was very, very tight. Positioned a few guys. I think he's now sitting in 7th position in front of Henry Schoeman, who was 5 positions in front of him out of the water.
I think we're going to see this one be a very, very different race to what we saw in the domination of Vincent Lewis in semi-final A. Poujade, Canute, Raphael, Lecour and Van Riel are your top 5. Van Riel, a renowned biker. Look for him to continue to press his advantage. He's sitting right in behind Lecour. Murray's moved up into, I think, 6th position now. Longcroft Harris there as well. Schoeman, Sanchez Mantecon.
This is where Christian Blumenfeld, he tends to overgear. He rides a very big gear, Christian Blumenfeld, because he's a much bigger athlete, but he's struggling to get that cadence up to close those accelerations. And if he's going to make a move, it needs to be on this bottom section, because as he comes off his turn, he gives himself a few bike lengths, because he just grinds up this hill. So it's only if they sit up that he seems to close the gaps. Otherwise, the distances grow and grow. And the French pedal very, very well, as does Martin Van Riel, sitting back there in 4th position, 3rd position behind Ben Canute.
Canute's one of those athletes that is always in the top 5 or 6, but he's not a race winner in Super League as yet. He might look at this and think this could be his day, Ben Canute.
He had a fantastic event in Jersey. He's really, really enjoying this style of racing. His mindset and his aggressive racing suits it. He's not an opportunistic racer. He's I guess an offensive racer. He's always taking the race up the road, and that suits this, with potential crashes happening behind, with people getting caught as athletes are going back and forwards. He's always in that position where he's at the pointing end, despite on paper not technically being the fastest runner or the fastest biker or the fastest swimmer.
Very gutsy as Mantecon, or Sanchez takes an inside line on Longcroft Harris and takes him for position number 7. Out the front, Poujade, Canute, Van Riel, Lecour, Murray. They are your top 5 as it stands at the moment, as they head into transition for the first time.
Orion Raphael slowly sliding backwards after his big swim, as is the young Hungarian junior who's second at the under-23 Junior Worlds in Lehman. Big swimmer. He's also a big runner, but he's struggling on this circuit. He was a lot closer to the front half of the swim. I saw him climbing up that hill. He was bullied out, I guess, by Ben Canute, pushed aside. He sort of let those gaps open. He drifted back, and once you start drifting back in a pack, it's very, very hard to make forward progression, because people see you as the weakest link and will quickly move around you.
So Van Riel moving up into 3rd position, and he's right behind Ben Canute alongside Pierre Lecour and Richard Murray. He's tacked himself onto the back of this group.
It's a good little group.
Be hard to break into that group as it is. 2 Frenchmen, South African in there, an American leading them.
And there's Christian
Belgian.
Blumenfeld, just on the back of that group.
Blumenfeld came out of the water in about 12th position and now is in 7th position behind Schoeman, who's tucked in behind his countryman Richard Murray. The 2 South Africans having missed Jersey for different reasons and arrive here needing to make a good result, because across the course of our championship season, points accumulated early are key if you're going to be in the race for that $100,000 prize at season's end, as Jonas Schomburg tacks onto the back of Blumenfeld and Sanchez.
Ben Canute seems to be racing, understanding that first semi-final, he knows the time of that first semi-final. He's got something to chase. He knows that if he keeps the tempo on, There's potential that 10 from this semi-final can go through if it's a lot quicker semi-final. So he's constantly pushing on the front. You saw him as he came off the top of that hill, signalling to the riders behind, come on, take your turn. Martin Van Riel came over the top of him. So they all know what they've got to chase, which is a big advantage of being semi-final number 2. You've just got to do it.
Yeah, you need a time in the mid-32s if you're going to secure yourself a spot if you're not in the top 5. And when you do find yourself in the top 5 or in the next 5 fastest, you're going to arrive tomorrow in a...
There's Christian on the outside.
Yeah, in a final full of people like Christian Blumenfeld, who says hello to Ben Canute and goodbye to Ben Canute.
And on the front for the first time in the Super League race this season, which is great.
Indeed, yes, it is. After a good showing from Gustav Eden, we just saw a great interview of the two of them. Has no life by his own admission outside of triathlon, Christian Blumenfeld. But that doesn't matter because he's very, very good at triathlon, and he's on the front of semi-final B here as the sun begins to get a bit lower in the sky at the top of the hill here on Mount Malta. It's been a beautiful day for racing, and we're going to have another one tomorrow with 2 huge finals with $20,000 on the line for our 2 winners. And Christian Blumenfeld would have seen what Vincent Lewis has done and thought, I can do that. And off he goes, leading a train of about 10 or 11 athletes with Sanchez on the back. Lehman and then Chris Perham from Great Britain.
Just a little bit too big a gap for Chris. He should have tried to close that down. He lost it on that last climb. But interestingly, Christian Blumenfeld set himself up with the transition jersey, first into transition. If he's ever going to have a quick transition, it's right now.
Blumenfeld puts his bike in front first, misses the opportunity. Van Riel puts his bike in back first. He's the only one of the top 5 to have done that. That might get him a couple of seconds, but it's cost him a couple of seconds now. Canute as well had a bit of a issue with his helmet. So he comes out at the back of the group now and drops a few spots. Does Canute, who was second going in. Sanchez. There is Perham, who has to stop, fix his shoe up, as does Aurelian Raphael. And off they go on the run for the first time. 11 minutes gone in this one. Heart rate's already very, very high. And Michael Arashida is already beginning to do the dance with the 90-second rule. 32 seconds as it stands. So he needs to hold that or better it. And there is our entire field with Blumenfeld in the lead from Poujade and Lecour. 2 Frenchmen chasing the Norwegian with Murray, Van Riel, Canute. Schoeman's there as well in a group with Lehman.
What you know about Christian Blumenfeld is he will not slow up. So if you think he's going to coast through this first run, you know that's not going to happen. He's going to really, really push this first run. He's so used to chasing. So that group behind, if they think this group of 3 in front are going to come back to him, or Christian Blumenfeld's thinking of maybe easing up, it's not going to happen. So if you're Richard Murray right now, you need to start working this hill and trying to close that gap. Pierre Lecour seems to be the first to drop off that pace of Christian Blumenfeld, who's going to love this descent.
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
Lecour in second position and took some really valuable championship points, 14 of them in Jersey, but he was helped very much by the loss of the bike due to the high winds. We had to cancel the bike. He was 21st ranked in the bike on day 1, and cancelling the bike on day 2 really played into his hands, but that's not taking away from his performance, which was absolutely outstanding. To finish second behind Vincent Lewis and to run into the line is something that pretty much no one, except for Henry Schoeman, has been able to do in the last, well, since the invention of Super League.
Yeah, you watch Blumenfeld go down this downhill. It's like he does not care about his knees.
He hates his knees.
He just
hates it.
Opens up.
Hates his body.
Hates his body.
Wants to punish it.
And look at the gap he's opened up on the descent. This is where I thought this course was really going to suit his style of racing. He does struggle a little bit in the swim, but he will love this bike climbs and he'll love this downhill running. And that gap has just opened up all on that descent.
Just throwing caution to the wind with that run. And it really helps him. I think we saw last year sometimes with Henry Schoeman was a little bit more circumspect on the downhill. He's a very controlled athlete, and it's delivered him a Commonwealth Games gold medal amongst a Rio Olympic bronze medal too. And there he is, the white shark with the white hair. But if you can just get a little bit out of control, but also continue that momentum downhill, you can really put some miles into the rest of the field. And maybe not miles, maybe meters. Meters is enough. And Christian Blumenfeld has done exactly that as he heads through transition For the first time on the run, as we head to the back end of the first swim bike run, we go into another triathlon after this, and a great showing from Anthony Poujade, who was 10th in round 1, 3rd in semi-final B last time out. He's sitting 2nd in semi-final B right now, ahead of Pierre Lecour, with Richard Murray and Martin Van Riel.
Martin Van Riel knows he has a big swim here, but he has to stay close to that group. With Richard Murray vulnerable in the swim, I thought Richard would struggle a little bit more than he said he was. He came in saying he was a little bit underdone. The two French up front are magnificent swimmers. Murray is probably the weakest link there, so he needs to make sure he enters that water in front of the two French and Martin Van Riel and make them swim around him to stay close, to secure himself in that top 5.
Last time around on the run, the last place across the line, Arashida, was 32 seconds back, and here he is now, and he's going to be over a minute back. Oh, there you go, a minute on the knocker.
30 seconds in 1 kilometre.
That is incredible, and that pace has been set by this man who knows how to dig as deep as possible into the pain cave and pull out performances back to back to back. He's just coming off the back of his first WTS win.
It's amazing, grand final, WTS, not just win, WTS grand final win.
And then a week later, 4th in the 70.3 Worlds.
And to his own admission, a disappointing 4th in the 70.3 Worlds.
That just shows you how good he is, and there is the rest of your top 5. Poujade, Murray, Van Riel, and Lecour.
Ben Canute and Henry Schoeman both know they're big swimmers. The issue they have is that 3 of the 4 guys in front of them are also very, very big swimmers. So the thought of potentially closing gaps in this second swim go out the door when you've got the horsepower of Martin Van Riel.
Look at
Blumenfeld. And he's amazing.
He's just disappeared. He has disappeared.
He would love this semi-final racing, because as athletes are thinking of resting up and saving the legs for the final, Christian Blumenfeld does not care. He wants to punish himself every time he puts on a number.
He really does, doesn't he? He doesn't need to do this. He doesn't need to do this, but he will go hammer and tongs. Is that an Australian term again?
He
will go as fast as he can.
Look at that. Just get that on. I want to go.
Get it on me. Here we go. Christian Blumenfeld. Fastest in transition. That's why he's wearing the grey, and fastest out there in semi-final B. That's why no one's anywhere near him. There come the chasing pack.
There's big swimming horsepower here, and if 3 of these 4, Murray being the weakest link in the water, decide to pursue Christian Blumenfeld, he may find himself isolated. Richard Murray, that being said...
Well, Richard it just plays into Blumenfeld's hands.
It really does. And Richard Murray, though, all that being said, is probably one of the best sitter of feet in the world. It's very, very difficult to dislodge him. I think if Ali was here, he'd say that's not the case, but I've seen it with my own eyes, having followed these races for years. He's very good at sitting on hips, at finding feet, and moving his way tactically through these swims to stay as close as possible. It's only when he's isolated with 1 or 2 people that he can be found to be put in trouble.
There he goes. The big engine of Christian Blumenfeld dives into the water. He benefits from a particular set of genetic combinations.
Murray beating him into the water.
He did.
Knowing how important this swim is for Murray, that's what I mean about a smart racer. Put yourself in front of the 3 better swimmers, make them swim around you.
And then just latch on. So Christian Blumenfeld knows that he wants the short shoot. The winner of each of our semi-finals takes the short shoot, which is a little shortcut at the top point of the course that may give yourself 5 seconds that you can take on either of the runs, as Jonas Schomburg just rolls into transition. He's not having the greatest day in the world. He's behind the under-23 world champion Sanchez, and out he goes, but he's in 10th position, and when the pace is this hot, well, you can't say that he's not having a good day. He's just not having as good of a day as Christian Blumenfeld and the men behind him. So the short shoot is on offer. As we said, Vincent Lewis took it in semi-final A. Semi-final B, Christian Blumenfeld has one hand on it, but Murray, Lecour, Van Riel and Poujade, along with Henry Schoeman, who is a high-quality swimmer, looks like he's going to bridge that gap to that group of 4.
You can see the pace on in that group behind, and Murray, after saying that he's the best at sitting on feet, has gone from 1st to 4th off that first can.
Arashid has avoided elimination. He's going to jump into the water with his shoes on.
He has to.
All right,
to stay
why not?
In the race.
To stay in the race, he's going to... We said in Jersey, after people were running barefoot, I said in commentary, one day we're going to see people swim with their shoes on, and it took 3 weeks.
And
so the doubters...
There it is.
Well, there it is.
I think you're going to see him go backwards at,
He's gonna
an
sink.
accelerated rate. It's not the smartest thing to do. That being said, he wasn't eliminated. So
If he's not eliminated, though, he's giving himself a better chance of making the final. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But he's maximising the chances with what he's got in the tank on this particular day, and that's.
And he also becomes the first person in history, Will, to ever dive in the pool. So he's
done it. He's become a future trivia question, Michael Arashida. So at what point does he regret that? 10 metres into the swim?
I think once he hit the water, the inability to flex your ankles, your inability to kick the water filling up, dragging your feet back, he'd be like, oh, silly move.
They're the new Nikes too, so let's hope one of them doesn't end up in Burgoo Harbour. That has never, ever happened in Super League Triathlon. Someone in the water with their shoes on, but that is what Super League does, forces athletes to innovate.
You can see right now Richard Murray off the back of those three. They're in pursuit of Christian Blumenfeld, and Murray's the first casualty. It's Henry Schumann and Anthony Pajatis who are going to close in on Richard Murray.
So the gap has diminished between Blumenfeld and the chasing pack. It was significantly more than that, probably 3 times as much as that. But our chasing pack have worked together.
Martin Van Riel doing all the damage to close it. I think it's Pierre Lecour sitting just on his feet. But as he went in, Christian Blumenfeld will lead out, and that's where he wanted to be. If you remember that first one, he was last out of the group. Now he's going to lead out, which is a position he loves to be in. He's going to be on the front. We know one thing, he's just going to put the hammer down and say, hold on if you want to. If you want to win this, hold on.
I don't think... Well, it'd be hard to bet against him. Van Riel out of the water. Lecour behind him. Then comes Anthony Poujade. Then comes Henry Schumann, who's moved up.
He's had a great swim.
A little bit here.
Straight past Richard Murray.
And Murray's the man who loses out.
Pierre Lecour. Well, Martin Van Riel with a sloppy transition. He was second out and third out of transition. And a distant third. Pierre Lecour.
Lecour gets out first, ahead of Blumenfeld. He doesn't like that, and he's going to latch straight onto the back. Let's see if Blumenfeld plays a smart game here. Songnor Lehman is hurting a little bit. Chongor is his name. He said, don't worry, just call me Chonga. That's my nickname. And I said, if I do that, people will just think that I got it wrong.
Yeah.
It'll be an Australian thing.
Chonga.
Chongor Lehman and Sanchez, two who featured right at the top pointy end of the under-23 World Champs. They are right next to each other. And Aidan Longcroft-Harris is going to need to hustle if he's going to avoid elimination. But at the front, Christian Blumenfeld has retaken the lead from Lecour.
Pierre Lecour wants that wheel. He had it, he lost it at the bottom of the climb. He's either going to look back and say, I take the two behind me, or if I take this wheel in front, I'm guaranteed a position, because it's not a foregone conclusion that these four are going to stay away. With Schumann back there and Ben Canute is going to push forward. Richard Murray, magnificent on this bike course. Makes 7 people into 5 again if these gaps close.
Poujade knows the quality of Martin Van Riel on the bike. So those two will work together, and the wheel of Christian Blumenfeld is well and truly gone from Pierre Lecour as he comes round the near end of the course for the first time.
Just such a big gear he pushes in and out of those corners. He obviously has the strength to do it. It's wondering whether if he goes in a head-to-head bike race against Vincent Lewis, who's a lot smoother in and out of those corners and rides a lot higher cadence, can accelerate a lot better, whether those little differences, those margins of error will mount up to be big things that ultimately cost him the race. When it comes to the pursuit of the win, I think he wins that battle down, hands down. It's whether those little things that Vincent Lewis does a little bit better than Christian Blumenfeld, in my opinion, add up to win those events.
Well, the quality of... Here he comes, the man with the shoes on. He's wearing the flippers, Michael Arashida, and he has done something that no man has done before, and he's lost his shoes. No, there it is. There it is, Tom. That is absolutely outstanding work. Congratulations to Michael Arashida. He's the first to be eliminated, but he's done something no man has done before, and he takes his shoes out of the water and gets the round of applause, gets the yellow flag, but it can't be said that he hasn't done everything he possibly could to stay in this race. So well done to him. Eliminated from the men's semi-final B. but we'll never forget it.
That's a powerful group of three. I think that's an established group. I think Richard Murray was trying to close that gap, even though he's got some allies.
All right, we're going to head right down now to Joe, who's with the man with the shoes, Michael Arashida. Joe?
Well, Michael, here you are, and you have your shoes. Did you enjoy that, and what was obviously the thinking to not be eliminated?
Oh, I looked up and saw the clock was at 1:22, so made a little stutter, and then decided if I want to do the swim, I may as well just go with the shoes. Go ahead. What?
Well, you've got to tell us, because we're all waiting to hear, how hard is it to swim in your shoes out there?
Oh, that was brutal. I already kicking is not my specialty, and with shoes on was way harder. So I stopped at the first buoy and stuck them inside my suit, and then that was arguably worse. So I don't know what the strategy would have been, but I made it through one more discipline, and I don't know. I guess got a little TV time. So
if you could do it all again, would you do the same thing?
Yeah, I think I would have been out after the swim anyway. So I might have not even made it to the swim. So yeah, why not, right? So.
Well done. You became the first person in Super League history to swim with your shoes on.
Thank you very much. Hopefully I don't have to next year. Hopefully I'm there next year.
Well done to Michael Arashida. I can't say enough about how important that is to innovate like that. It really takes the spirit of Super League and takes it forward.
Well, it shows how important it is for these athletes to complete each discipline and what it means to them. And as he said, he's like, I could have been eliminated before the swim, I got to swim. And it's just those little steps and those little things they do year on year to improve. And as he said, next year he'll complete the event, and who knows, he could be pushing for a win in 2 or 3 years' time.
That's absolutely correct. And a lesser athlete would have had a look at 1:22 on the clock and just gone through the motions, and there's no way he was going to finish higher than that.
Yeah.
So I respect that. And at the front, they're all respecting the quality of Christian Blumenfeld, who makes the turn again. And Pierre Lecour, I mean, we talked about how it played into his hands as he's come back to the field here.
What'll be interesting if the status quo remains unchanged. You have 4 here with Murray, Schoeman, Lehman and Canute chasing one position, one guaranteed position.
Yep.
And on paper, Richard Murray is the form runner, though Henry Schoeman has outrun him many times in big events all over the world. Both those athletes have come in saying they're not in their best form. Are they vulnerably beaten by Canute, who was 4th in Jersey and was running out of his skin? It'll be interesting this run if nothing changes.
All right, Blumenfeld saw what Vincent Lewis did and said he wanted to put down a marker, get into the heads of his opponents. Well, Blumenfeld said, I can do that too. He's way out the front. Van Riel, Lecour and Poujard look like they might have a spot in the top 5 if they can have a good run. And then there's 4 on the bike right here who are fighting for one guaranteed spot and also hoping they can drag themselves in to the 5 next best. But Lecour, as I was saying, we thought that it might have played into his hands somewhat. And there's the clock. The under-23 world champ is 53 seconds back in a 26.5 minute race. That just shows you how quick the pace is. But we thought it played into his hands losing the bike, but it turns out that as well as that, Pierre Lecour is in some supreme form to hold on to a top 3 position in a race that is as fast and furious as this.
Well, he's as are all the French. They're just very balanced athletes, and Super League racing, unlike what you see on the WTS series and other races around the world, is about balance. All the disciplines are almost the same time to complete. So if you aren't exceptional in all 3, you get isolated, and you're seeing the French are so strong.
There's the time.
They're so strong.
And there is the blue jersey holder, who was just on the wrong side of the time as into transition, a lap ahead, and that's the reason for the 90-second rule, so we don't have lapped athletes. Comes Christian Blumenfeld.
Oh, big ride by Mark Van Riel.
Wow, he really came off that bike at pace. So, Van Riel knows he can rack forward. That's the last ride of the day, and out, and with the Red Bull cap on goes Christian Blumenfeld. Quick transition from Van Riel. Good as well from Lecour. And out they come, but could they be fighting for 2nd and 3rd?
Christian Blumenfeld will put the hammer down, 100% guaranteed. I bet my house on it. He's not going to ease up.
This is the real race here.
This is the race for that spot. Murray knows
Murray.
it, as does Schoeman, the 2 most experienced. Canute was 4th in Jersey, and the young silver medalist from the Under-23 Junior World Championships from Hungary,
Chong or Lehman, 20 years old. As you said, silver in Lausanne in the grand final. 4th in the Tijuvaras World Cup in the elite racing
in the grand final right there.
Yep. There's the winner of the Under-23 World Championships. So just a small dose of revenge maybe for Lehman if he does finish ahead of Roberto Sanchez Mantecon.
Sanchez is a competitor at heart. He'll be looking up the road going, there is no chance if I want to claim to be the best under-23 athlete on the planet, I need to take you out.
So the top 5 racing for those automatic qualifying spots, and a guaranteed spot goes to anyone else who can finish in above 32.24, which was Leo Berger's 6th place time. And we'll have the provisional confirmation of our finalists in the minutes following the race. 1 minute 20 gone, and we haven't mentioned him much, but Alessio Crocchiani from Italy is still in the mix and avoiding elimination.
He's going to finish here.
Yeah, he's going to finish ahead of Chris Perham. And at the front, and with enough time to put his hat and sunnies on, is Christian Blumenfeld. And there's Van Riel behind him, probably 100 metres behind him as he makes the turn at the top. And that's where the short chute will be, where those A-frames are. Probably around near where Van Riel is now. He'll be able to make the turnaround tomorrow, Blumenfeld, and get that advantage. But it doesn't matter that his joints are screaming. It doesn't matter that he's that far ahead. He's barreling down the backside of Mount Malta as quick as you like. There's Poujard, there is Schoeman, and there is Murray.
And Poujard
is in 5th.
So these two are going to move past him.
Poujard's going to miss out.
Yes.
Poujard is in 5th. Hang on, that can't be right.
Schoeman and
Murray is in the wrong spot on our timing screens.
Because Poujard is now is having a problem, and both Murray and Schoeman will move
they
past
could both. They'll both move into the top 5.
Exactly.
That's right.
That spot.
So Van Riel and Lecour will soon be followed by the 2 South Africans. There they are, Murray and Schoeman in 4th and 5th. Poujard being the man on the bubble, needing to beat his countryman Leo Berger in a 32.24. Behind them is Chongo Lehman, and behind him is Roberto Sanchez, but through transition for the last time is Christian Blumenfeld, who...
And we're 600 metres from home there. He's celebrating early at 30.30. It's going to be very, very close to the time. Actually, probably a little bit quicker than the time of Vincent Lewis. If I do the math at 3 minute Ks, 90 seconds. Yeah, it's going to be very, very tight, close to the times. Vincent Lewis carving his semi-final up quite comfortably. So this semi-final...
Blumenfeld.
Yeah.
Blumenfeld, he finished a disappointing 9th. Disappointing for him, not for anybody else, but disappointing for Christian Blumenfeld to finish 9th.
He ran barefoot, if you recall.
Yep, ran barefoot to avoid elimination. Did the reverse Arashita, is the name of that move. And there is Ben Canute, who...
was 4th in Jersey.
Yep. He was, and a great run from Chongo Lehman, and he's bested Canute. Canute's doing his best to put himself up into that 5 next fastest times, but up the hill and enjoying his time. He saw his countryman Gustav Eden do it. The thumbs up to Christian Blumenfeld, who is going to take a lonely run up the hill for the last time as Mantecon makes it in under the 1 minute 30 mark. But Christian Blumenfeld will enjoy this run up the hill. He will take the short chute.
And the time unofficially is a lot quicker.
It's very fast.
Lewis.
And
now slowing down to
he's returned fire. Christian Blumenfeld, he takes semi-final B, he takes the short chute, and I think he takes the quickest time of the day as well.
Berger at 32.24 is the one that sat 6th in that first semi-final. So,
and then it was a 32.40 to Royal and a 33.28 to Hauser. So Van Riel, he's had a huge run there to best Pierre Lecour. Martin Van Riel, we know his bike is good, his run is good as well. He gets in at a 32.25. Lecour qualifies for the final in 3rd, Murray in 4th, and Schoeman in 5th. So the 2 men who have battled illness. Poujard gets in at a 32.35.
He'll get in.
Which is, he will get in, but he's not going to be ahead of Berger. 32.41 for Lehman. He'll be there as well. And I think Canute will be in as well because they all finish under the time of Matt Hauser.
Well done. Great work.
So I think Royal will get in as well.
Canute will get in. Royal will be there. Hauser's in a 33.28. So we've had
there's 4 there.
7 or 8 finishes.
I think Royal's going to get in. You're going to have Hauser's going to be the casualty because Canute's going to take it, as will Lehman. as will
We're
Bergier.
going to see someone else cross the line in the next few minutes, and it could be Sanchez who ousts Hauser.
He says he looks at the clock and says, has it been fast enough? It will be fast
Now
enough.
this is just us assuming.
We're just
this time.
checking the numbers.
Yes.
Canute will be on the bubble. Sanchez might have missed out. Hauser might have missed out. So Berger, it looks like Berger, Royal, and the 3 fastest from this heat who didn't automatically qualify.
Anthony Pagetis, you have Berger, you have Royal, you'll have who else was there? That was a more congested heat, a lot, whilst it was probably slightly faster.
I think Sanchez will be the last man in. We'll have to wait on the provisionals for that. There is Aurelian Raphael, who again let out the swim but found the going tough. He's like our new Richard Varga from last year.
Really is.
Very, very good swimmer, but finds the pace a bit hot. And there is the man with the Red Bull cap, with the Red Bull in hand, totally on brand, Christian Blumenfeld, who will be your fastest, I think, for this. There's nothing you want more when your heart rate's 180 than to have a Red Bull.
Make it 190. Because it can go harder.
Okay, confirmation of our provisional 5 fastest others who make it in. Leo Berger, Aaron Royal, Anthony Poujard, Chongo Lehman, and Ben Canute scrapes in as our 15th fastest across the course of the weekend.
That's very important for Ben Canute after his 4th place in Jersey. To not qualify for the final would be a tragedy to his points chase. So very, very important for that man on screen.
We'll get out there and let them know, but right now we're going to head down to Joe Ankia, who is with our winner enjoying a Red Bull, Christian Blumenfeld.
Yes, I'm with a happier Christian Blumenfeld this weekend. Are you happy with your performance? Fantastic front running.
Yeah, it was much better than Jersey. I was so disappointed getting there eliminated. That was humiliating. So to be able to back it up here with a strong performance was great. So, but it's tomorrow that counts.
How much were you thinking about tomorrow and Vince perhaps trying to run faster than him?
Not too much. I mean, I think it's good to just get kind of pushing through today, and it's not too long. So yeah, it's going to be interesting tomorrow. It will be a little bit easier with that bike TT before the swim, because then kind of hopefully don't have to catch up.
And a bike time trial might just play to your strengths because you're very strong. How do you think that format might help you?
It should be good, I think. And also this bike course, I think, suits me way better than Jersey. I was really struggling in the technical course there, so this is more kind of a power course, and I'm feeling strong and confident ahead of tomorrow.
And you were also pushing it downhill as well as uphill. How are your knees, and how are you able to sort of tackle those downhills with that much speed? I
find it easier to running downhill actually, because then I can kind of just use the power. Like uphill, I really have to carry each kg I have extra than compared to everyone else. So the downhill is actually my strength, I think.
Okay, well, strength uphill and downhill, you're going to be a force to reckon with tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
But he needs to put a good time in tomorrow. Otherwise,
he is all about the power, Christian Blumenfeld, and he showed it on every percentage of gradient, both up and down here, and that beautiful, beautiful shot from the harbour here in Burgoo. It's been a pleasure to be here during the entire weekend. Thank you very much to Sports Malta and Visit Malta for helping us put this amazing event on. And the athletes have certainly enjoyed what's been a great couple of men's semi-finals. There's no doubt about it, and a good crowd too. And here are the results from Group B, semi-final B. Van Riel was a good, 21 seconds back on Christian Blumenfeld, but he was 4 seconds ahead of Lacour. Murray and Schoeman scraping in the 2 South Africans who've joined the field. Poujard, Lehman and Canute are the 3 that make it through to the final. Roberto Sanchez, the under-23 world champion, misses out, as does Aurelian Raphael, who was the last to finish and avoid elimination. So he lost 5 athletes, but a high-quality field right there. But Blumenfeld, he's really laid down. We heard Vince Lewis talk about getting in the minds, I guess, of our the rest of the competitors, and that's what Blumenfeld saw and responded to.
Oh, without question, and he was visually disappointed in Jersey, and it's good to hear him say that. And just watching their preparation, following them on social media and their build up to this event, both him and Gustav Eden. You could just see he was racing this with a different intensity. I'm going to be very interested to see how he attacks this race tomorrow to try and dislodge Vincent Louis' winning form.
Absolutely right. There is Ben Canute, Anthony Poujade and Martin Van Riel. But one man who is not there is Richard Murray. He is with Joe Anker right now. He's come back with a vengeance.
Well, Richard, you must be very happy with that performance. You weren't as confident on the start line, but how do you feel about the way you raced?
Well, that was quite brutal, to tell the honest truth. On the bike and the run, I felt it's kind of alright. But on the second swim, I could really feel the fitness wasn't there 100%. But, very happy to make it through. I think on the swim, I thought, man, I might not make it today. But, pretty happy with making it through till tomorrow. You actually raced it very tactically. You're positioning yourself just in front of some fast swimmers. How much were you thinking about tactics? Not a lot, to tell the honest truth. When we were on the bike, I didn't know I was in a good place, so I managed to catch up well on the first bike leg. I was in there on the run, and overall, I'm glad to make it through till tomorrow. And I think I made it through just with the right amount of energy loss, so I'm quite happy with that. And of course, tomorrow is a bike time trial. We know that you do love your bike, so is there a little confidence you can take going into tomorrow with the format? Yeah, definitely. I love a really hard bike, and I got a new BMC at the start of the year, so it's definitely been great this year to ride on that bike, and looking forward to it, definitely. Racing yourself fit again. Good luck for tomorrow. Thanks. Cheers, everybody.
Really good to have our race winner in Malta last year, Richard Murray, back in there in the final.
He's a great addition to the field. Whenever he's on, he just races to win. He's a dynamite competitor. He talks himself into fitness. I always hear him the days before going, I don't know, and then you see that momentum that he gathers. So it's great to see him back and racing the way he does.
As sun sets here in Burgoo, let's look back at the racing semi-final B, and it started at a fast and furious pace, as they all have, and this really was the swimmers semi-final, if you like. As we said, probably half a dozen of the very best swimmers in the world, all in the same race, and they came out in a big bunch, and there were plenty of Frenchmen at the front early on, and the pace was right on, and it showed at the back end. Blumenfeld started that bike in 11th, finished it in the lead, and didn't relinquish it for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and what Blumenfeld did by being so aggressive is isolate our blue jersey. It will be the first time our blue jersey doesn't make the final. He was the first casualty here because of that aggressive pace on the bike of Christian Blumenfeld.
First time down the hill was where he really gapped everybody, and as soon as the gradient gets up above 3, 4, 5%, that's when he really shines.
Yeah, he's amazing, and it's just his mindset. If he has a vulnerability, it's a swim, but as he said, it's when he gets open water like this, he's able to focus on his stroke. This group behind closed down, but once he's on land, he's very, very difficult to pass. It's just the way he races. He moved. Pierre Lecour got him out of transition, but straight up that first climb, he was able to gap Pierre Lecour, continued to push forward consistently, and once onto the run, I would hate to be in a run shootout with him. It's the downhills here that Christian Blumenfeld I found was very, very good. His transitions, he's in the grey jersey, were spectacular. The takeaway, Martin Van Riel, I thought ran quite well. When you think of Pierre Lecour and his performances in Jersey, running off the shoulder of Vincent Lewis, to be able for Martin Van Riel to dislodge him on the run was a big takeaway for him.
Good to see a happy Christian Blumenfeld get across the line, take the tape and take the shortcut for tomorrow, and really put in a quality all-round performance, as did Martin Van Riel and Pierre Lecour, ahead of Richard Murray and finally Henry Schoeman, who by his own admission is a little bit undercooked but still managed to get his way in, as did Anthony Poujade, Chong-Or Lehman and Ben Canute. But a fantastic day's racing here in Malta, and what a fantastic venue it is. It really just looks beautiful, and I can tell you here on the ground, the pictures do not lie.
It's a remarkable island. I'd never really spent a lot of time here until we started coming here as part of the Super League series, and we came in for years, months and months before, but it's become one of my favourite destinations to visit within Europe. It's the history here, the architecture, it's marvellous, the food, and obviously the triathlon racing now is pretty on point.
You've really been sampling the food, there's no question about it.
The seafood here is good, mate. You've got to keep eating. The more is better.
Seafood, yeah, you like seafood.
Nice
you seafood and you eat it.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
All right, we're going to have a look now at confirmed results for both the men's and women's final. So if you're hanging out to find out who will be racing, the two men who take the short shoot, he was 8 seconds quicker than Vincent Lewis. Relegated once again on the timesheets, Lewis. It doesn't matter, they'll both have the short shoot, Blumenfeld and Lewis. Wild was next quickest from Mislachuk, Vasco Velasa, who was fantastic. Martin Van Riel, Gustav Eden, 70.3 world champ. Pierre Lecour, second overall in our series. Richard Murray and Henry Schoeman both do enough. to make it into the top 5. And our lucky 5 who make it in by virtue of their times. Leo Berger and Anthony Poujard, both from France. Aaron Royal, our red jersey holder right now from Australia. Chong Lehman from Hungary, who comes in for the first time. And one of our stalwarts, Ben Canute, 4th overall in the championship. And that is a packed final for tomorrow. 45-second spread across the entire field, which is very, very tight racing. It'll be interesting to see the selection, where the athletes decide to go in this time trial tomorrow. Will Christian Blumenfeld light the open road and pick himself to be first? I'm keen to see that. The short shoots for the women's, as expected, go to Katie Zafiris, who's 2nd overall and our reigning champion, and Cassandra Beaugrand, who leads right now in our championship. Rachel Clammer was the 2nd quickest out there, from Sophie Colwell, Taylor Spivey and Ilaria Zane, who all were in the same heat as Katie Zafiris. Yuko Takahashi, Beatrice Malozzi, our junior, who already raced this morning and got the extra spot. She qualifies in 8th position from the only Perio, Summer Rappaport, Felicity Sheedy-Ryan, Angelica Olmo, Bianca Serrani, another one of the juniors, 2 very quick Italians, Megan Foley and Elena Danilova. Those last 3 all got eliminated but made it in regardless, and we cannot wait for tomorrow's racing. It's going to be a beautiful day here in Malta. The women's final will be at 2:30 p.m. local time. It'll be 4 p.m. for the men's, and this is what's coming up. Here's a little taste of what the equalizer is all about.
The Equalizer, a 2-stage battle that asks for everything. Stage 1, the time trial, an examination of true single-discipline pace. Gap the field here and take the advantage into Stage 2, a pursuit start enduro, 6 consecutive legs and 5 transitions, enough to claw back the time lost or to squander your lead with even the smallest mistake.
Well, there you go. What a pair of semi-finals in the men's, and what a pair of semi-finals in the women's. We've really enjoyed some fantastic racing. As the sun sets on Saturday, it now dawns on Sunday, and how good is that going to be?
Oh, look, these finals tomorrow are going to be remarkable. The one takeaway is this course is still as tough as ever. There's a lot more talent here this year, I think, and I can't wait to see the action get underway. It's going to be hotter than it was today. Very, very warm indeed, but wow, it'll be incredible.
We're under here, under the finishing arch right now. We're going to see it in just a second, but who do you think, men's and women's, based on what we saw, are going to take it?
I called Christian Blumenfeld before the show on the men's side. I think this course suits him. Dislodging Vincent Lewis is going to be very, very difficult to do. I love Katie Zafiris on this course. I think Cassandra Beaugrand is a spectacular racer, but Katie just has that eye of the tiger this race. I think she'll lead it up and she'll take the win.
Okay, so some fantastic race winners taking the short shoot on top. Katie Zafiris, Cassandra Beaugrand, Vincent Lewis and Christian Blumenfeld. Tomorrow is all set up for some fantastic racing, championship points and a whole bunch of prize money on the line. The women's is at 2:30 p.m. local time. The men's is at 4 o'clock. Check your local guides. We are on all over the world and streaming on superleaguetriathlon.com. But right now, it's bye from Malta.